been a little over a year since I've been here, and since I've moved from Phoenix to Texas to the small city, I've learned so much about how the small town vibe is still existent in a city that is growing and really bustling with activities, new businesses, lots of people moving into it. It's the 13th fastest growing small city in the US, and it really feels like that. And it's very reflective in the community. You have old town farmers that have been there for generations, families that have been there for generations, and then you have younger and growing families that are moving from all over the US.
And I see looking at this that you have a lot of businesses and organizations, and I can put it on the screen for the audience to see as well so that they can get a preview of what you have going on. But it looks like there's a lot of city-run events and a lot of businesses and nonprofits that are posting to the calendar. Can you give us a general summary of like what you see on the calendar this month and coming up this spring?
For sure. So I think it's unique because we have our Connect platform open to the public. And so we have, as you mentioned, we have businesses and organizations and the city itself that's adding events to the calendar. And I think it's so cool that we have it open to the public and we have all of these stakeholders who get to participate in sharing their events.
How long does it take you to approve events daily?
For me, they're fairly quick, only
Mm.
because I have a system down in my head.
Mhm.
I see that there's events pending approval. I look at it. I do a quick read through, make sure I'm scanning every word that goes through, making sure that all the tags are the correct tags, so that when it's front facing and published, it's organized in the right section.
Yep.
I'm making sure that there's the dates are correct. Everything that's in the text is reflective in the timestamps and just making sure that everything is cohesive and clean. So, although that sounded like a lot, it's probably like 2 to 3 minutes of me just making sure it's good to go for the public to read.
So I know that you have workshops that I believe at least twice a year you do workshops for the general public, business owners, nonprofits, so that they can ask any of their questions in live time. Can you tell us a little bit about those workshops?
Yes. So I had a workshop last year and I have one upcoming in the month of April. So the first one, I was able to host a workshop that just invited anybody and everybody in the community who was curious about the platform, wanted to see how they could use it to share more about their events or their business in general. And we've had, a handful of community members, mostly organization members, business owners that came and we're just genuinely curious, and that's kind of the feel that I'm receiving from our community, is that there's a lot of curiosity about the platform itself and how they can leverage this platform to better advertise all the great things that got going on with their businesses. And so I'm excited to just be that person that gets to communicate, like, hey, the city has this great tool for you.
And having a successful business network in a town means that there's places for the community to shop and to play and to be entertained. And so the city, of course, wants those businesses to be successful. And I'm not sure about you, but how many times have you been scrolling Facebook or Instagram to see those recap albums only to feel completely left out, not knowing that this great event was happening in your own backyard? So I think the city having this calendar to be able to have another place that's not algorithm dependent and being able
Yeah,
to just see what those events are can be really helpful.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Have you heard of any events or have you discovered any events yourself that you didn't know the organizer or weren't familiar and then found a new event?
Yes. So actually, there's a business called Grapes and Rye out here, and I have heard about them, but I just never got around to, going to visit them.
Mhm.
And they uploaded and shared an event about like a wine mixer that they were having, and like
Nice.
have mixology classes. And it made me curious. So when I went to go approve the event, like I just got like super eager about it personally, and I spent more
Mhm.
time like before I even pressed approve, I'm like, oh, let me add this to my personal calendar so I can
Yep.
go date night with my husband.
I love to hear how that's evolved and how plugged into the community you are too. I was looking at your calendar here, and it seems that you guys have expanded beyond one hub and now have a soft launch volunteer hub. And I hear news that there might be an individual police department hub as well to house some of their trainings that they do. Can you tell me a little bit about what your experience is in growing to more channels?
Yes. So since Hutto Connect launched and it was our general hub, we had other departments that were curious on how they could utilize it to um, basically share their information. And so the volunteer hub, they wanted a space to basically communicate their volunteer opportunities here in Hutto. And the community is always curious, like, how do I find volunteer opportunities? And so um, we were able to help create a space where it all lives in one place where people can just go look and find opportunities. And so that is like, we had a soft launch and that's existent today. And then for our police department, they have a more robust system and their needs were far more complex than what we originally had the original hub for. And so
Mhm.
we were able to connect with your team, and they were really able to customize like everything to fit the needs of our police department. And they had very specific needs and very detailed requests. And I was anxious for a bit because I'm like, it's really, particular things. And, there was so many back end intricacies that I was like, is far beyond my knowledge. And so I was
Mhm.
able to, bridge that gap with your team to,
Right.
have them explain all of the cool things that they can do for our police department.
Yeah, yeah, and having an asset for them is certainly valuable. And of course, they have a community presence as well. They have community development officers, and you guys do a lot of events with your community, right? National Night Out, Coffee with a Cop, things like that.
Yes, absolutely. Those are cool events that happen throughout the year.
And whenever they have, whether it is the police officers locally, regionally coming to train, or if it is a resident wanting to do coffee with a cop, they're able to see that all in one place now.
Yes, correct. They are able to see all of the events that we offer. And another thing is in our like the central hub,
Hmm.
we have a tag for like departments. So although
Hmm.
the police hub is coming about and they're gonna have like their own um, calendar on our original hub, like the departments, whether it's library or parks or the city itself with public meetings or police department, you can always just click and find events based on those specific departments. And it's really nice because there's always a lot going on in each of those departments and so many
Yeah.
varied things. And if you just want to see what the police has to offer with the public, that it's not, that's not training related or law enforcement
Mhm.
related, you can just go and find it that way. So,
Yeah,
mhm.
I heard that you sent your first scheduled notification recently. This is a newer feature that we've rolled out. We are really excited about. We're trying to take some of that load off of government employees so they don't have to sit in front of their computer at 8 a.m. the day of the event when there's already so much going on to send out a
Yeah.
notification. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Yes. So our parks has a very popular event called the Egg Hunt and Spring Festival. And
Hmm.
so that brings a lot of community members, families, children, just so many people attend. And they're so happy that that happens. But because there's so many, they have to split the egg hunts into three categories. There's a 9 a.m., an 11 a.m., 1 p.m. to make sure that there's enough eggs for all the kids to go around. And so,
Yeah,
with that being said, in order to split up the registration times, they created a registration so people could sign up, so they can gauge how many people would be attending, so they can plan.
wonderful.
And so, with that being said, there was a lot of registrants, and we were trying to communicate our timings and just let them, be reminded, like, hey, tomorrow is the big event. We're
Mhm.
excited to have you guys. Just remember, bring your QR code so we can scan it, so we're aware that you did in fact register and you're not just showing up. And
Mhm.
so we wanted to send that out just the day before, just as a reminder. And so I was able to learn how to use that new feature and go in there, write a cute, quick little message. And it was easier than I thought it was going to be. It was really quick, and we had that scheduled and sent it out the day before. And it was just nice that I was able to do that really quickly in between all my tasks. And then I knew once it was scheduled, I didn't have to think about it. I just went about the rest of my day. And then I got the text message myself.
I know that social media is a big part of your job as well. And of course, you use marketing on social media to push back to the calendar, like you said. Is there any other ways that you found marketing the calendar has been very successful, whether it be social media, certain types of content, newsletters, brochures?
So I think we do push it on the newsletters. We do push connect events on social medias in general. Um, Recently, we were doing like a naming contest for the City of Hutto's mascot, live
How
mascot.
cool.
Yeah, our live mascot. So the City of Hutto is known for its hippos. There's no real hippos, but
Mhm.
there was this lore of a hippo being loose in the early 1900s, and so um, Hutto has the mascot of a hippo, and we have a live mascot, and we were realizing it didn't have a name. So we ran this campaign of trying to find a name, and we ran it side by side with March Madness, which is the college basketball championship tournament. And we wanted to join in on all of the hype and fun in the sports world. And we ran this
Yeah.
campaign. We asked the community what their name suggestions were, and we got so many different ones. And we narrowed it down to 16 names,
Mhm.
and we started a voting system, and it was a bracket system. It went from 16 names, voted down to 8 names, voted down to 4, and down to the final 2. And all of those took place on social media. But then the final, the championship round, we actually drove it back to Hutto Connect. So we were running an actual poll on Hutto Connect, and that was something we hadn't done before. But it was exciting because we got over 120 new registrants just based on that one poll that we ran on there, and people were really excited. They wanted to sign up, and just so that they can pick between 2 names. And
Mhm.
it was really great because once they signed up, it opened a door for them to explore all of the things that exist on Connect. So that
Mhm.
was a really cool way that we were able to drive some traffic onto Connect, but also just share to the community what this tool is and that it's existent for them. So that
Yeah, what
was
a new discovery layer, right? If somebody is used to only going to Facebook events or Eventbrite to find out what is going on around them, suddenly, because they're interested in voting for their mascot's name, they get to have this new discovery layer. So I have
yeah.
to ask, what's the new name?
Howdy.
Howdy, how perfect.
Right.
I love it. That is really fun and a really great new marketing tactic. One of the things that we tell a lot of cities whenever we're first launching is that this platform is kind of like a custom built house. You get to figure out all of the different features that you want, how you want it designed and laid out, what you want the look of it to be. And we've seen a lot of creative uses, even things like managing your vendors on your calendar. You have events from local churches, some nonprofits, businesses, library, parks and recreation, and even your school district. I want to know what some of your secrets to getting partners to come to your calendar and post are.
Secrets. Okay. I don't know if there's any secrets. I think it's more when we launched this, people were eager to utilize it and see how they can basically garner more attention
Mhm.
for whatever it is that they have going on. So I think it was maybe just a matter of curiosity, one,
Nice.
but two, it's also maybe just networking. And when we're talking
Mhm.
to community members and other stakeholders in the community, there's just, you know, they'll share like, hey, can you share this thing that we've got going on here at the ISD? And it's like, absolutely. And here's another way you can share it. Like,
Nice.
you know, and they're like, wait, what's this?
Education.
Mhm.
I heard you share that you are from Phoenix and now you're living in Hutto. I'm really curious, speaking of curiosity, how you feel connection is built in the city and what role the city of Hutto plays in building that community connection.
Cool question. So yes, I am from Phoenix, and I want to say I moved away from my family and everybody that I knew, and it was just my husband and I that moved out here, and we really didn't have anybody, and so coming
Mhm.
into a completely new place where we didn't know anyone, it was really important for me to try and find people I can connect with or places I can feel like I'm not so much of an outsider. And
Yeah.
so coming from a like a personal experience, I feel like Hutto Connect is literally like that, a plug that just helps you plug into the community. Although it's, you know, a lot of Hutto residents are, you know, they're looking for it for like just events or things they can take their kids or maybe for whatever reason. I think for me personally, it feels like as on the back end, I'm able to see like all of these awesome events that people are putting on, but also things that I can partake in and go and participate
Mm.
in and connect and network with other people and, you know, bring my partner along and us just be exposed to the community and
Yeah.
great people of Hutto.
How likely is it that you would have researched, are there any mixology classes near me? And
I,
instead, you just found a great date night.
I didn't even know much about mixology until honestly that I had seen that flyer and I'm like,
Mhm.
I've always heard about it, but I don't think I've ever cared enough to like look it up. But
Yeah.
you know, she added a cute flyer that caught my
Mhm.
attention, and like
Nice.
anything visually pleasing, I'm gonna stare at it a little bit longer and
Yeah.
eventually learn more about it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say you have such a great eye for design, and your calendar always looks so clean and inviting. Can you talk to us a little bit about designing the calendar, approving and creating your own images? Is it harder, easier? Is it fun to do? Tell me a little bit about it.
yeah, no, it can be fun. It can be tedious sometimes when you are somewhat of a perfectionist and want everything to like fit an aesthetic.
Hmm.
And so I've done what I can to try and communicate with the public what, you know, the cover image size is supposed to be and the thumbnail image just so that it works for them when they create their events. But when
Hmm.
it comes from the city itself, I do try and create a consistent look and feel. So I think with the design, it's just more of if you want for yourself for it to have an aesthetic or for it to fit some sort of, you know, consistent look, it's
Hmm.
just creating consistency with all of your design choices. And it's cool
Yeah.
that the Hutto Connect platform offers that, you know, the space and freedom to do that. It's also cool because they have the splash, and so if I can't find images for certain
Yep.
events, it's cool to just browse through a catalog of so many different
Yes.
images that we can just throw in there. And they're great quality.
And having those attribution-free images available to those small business owners and nonprofits that might not have an in-house designer or the time to create like a custom look and feel thumbnail, they
Yeah,
have that right there for them.
it's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to switch gears just a little bit. Um, I am looking at your calendar and all of the different events that you have, really a great variety from adult sports leagues to kids spring break camp. There's fiber crafting, barking book buddies, literally just so many things, and they're right there next to council meetings. and
Right.
parks advisory boards. And we know that it can be very difficult to get residents to be engaged in some of the more government side of their community and politics. I'm curious from your vantage point how you feel council has reacted to this tool and if this is easier for them to see what's going on in their community. Otherwise, too, have you noticed an uptick of residents having knowledge about or attending any of these committees or council meetings?
I have seen in the community people who have like been more vocal about they have their or if somebody comments like I'm not sure when a meeting is or like if they
Mm,
are complaining about an issue, I've seen a larger number of other residents who are taking up for the city like they have it on
nice,
their calendar. They have it listed or like well you should attend a meeting and like they have
nice.
it. Here's where they have it. It's like where do they have these lists like it's here and then they'll connect it to that. So
That's
that
really
is really
great.
cool. It's like it does provide like foolproof evidence. I'm like, okay, so people are
They're
browsing.
paying
Also,
attention. Yeah,
yeah, they're paying attention. So that's really nice. And I am aware that we do have council members using the platform as well.
nice.
We do see some results of from council members and the community itself of people actually exploring and seeing that it's there. And yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's better just to know where to find a resource should you need it, right?
Hmm.
Like maybe you don't always want to go to a zoning meeting, but having
Hmm.
seen a zoning meeting whenever you're going to look for something to do with your kids this weekend, then it's going to
Yeah.
stick in your mind whenever you have a question about zoning that there's a meeting coming up and you can go.
Yeah, that's so true.
Talking a little bit more about your council and your city manager, I understand that there's a big vision in Hutto from strategic plan sense that belonging is very important and that they want everybody from, like you said, fourth generation farmers and fourth generation families to newcomers to feel welcome in Hutto and that they have that hippo pride. What
Mhm.
do you think the Connect calendar does to help meet that strategic objective of belonging?
I do think that the Connect calendar itself I mean, it's a central hub. It is the place where everybody and anybody can essentially add whatever it is that they want to share with the community, and they want people to have eyes on it and
Mm,
and maybe an event just to attend itself. And I think that with the way that our community is, the way our city is, and how it's growing so quickly and it's very
yeah,
diverse and whether it's the fourth generation farmers as you mentioned or a new member like myself. I think it caters to almost every need. I feel like
mm,
caters to different demographics. It caters to um, different age groups. You can, like you had said yourself, you could go on there wanting to find something for your kids to do this weekend and you end up seeing something about a planning and zoning meeting. Like
mm,
the vast difference of those two things really are extremes, and there's everything from those extremes and everything in between. And
yeah,
with it's a hub that no matter where you are, where you come from, or who you are, you can find something that you can connect with and something that might pique your interest. And I feel like that itself, knowing that is kind of it kind of fills the foundation on the back end of a need of Hutto, and it feeds
mm,
into that hippo strong. Like
yeah,
we are, we have a platform here, we have a system here that can connect you with anybody and everybody, and we
yeah.
have something here that will help you find your needs, and
Yep.
all you got to
And
do
by
is.
having that resource there at the top on how to add events, I think you're
Mhm.
also inviting that person to give their own event to connect with the community. If they see a void, maybe they really like skateboarding and want to start a skateboard mentorship group. They have the ability to add that to the calendar if they see something missing or
For
to
sure.
join in a group that already exists. And I know as a digital marketing coordinator and really manning the social media for the city of Hutto, you need to go to those ribbon cuttings, those groundbreakings, the fun events happening in the community. Have you found that having the calendar helps you know better what's going on in the community and where to be?
The city itself really advocates for all of these events. You know, we try and share these community events, not just city led events. We're also community advocates, you know, so we're also marketing and promoting things. Every month, we're, you know, highlighting some of the cool things that's going on, and they're directly from the community members itself, you know, business owners who have upcoming events, studios or whatever it may be. We're like,
Mhm.
the city itself is pushing it. And so I think that's awesome. It just really feels like a tight knit, like the tight knit community that we are, that we're, you know, we're very welcoming, and it shows in how the platform is open to the public, but we're also
Yeah.
supportive and friendly about, you know, wanting to promote our small businesses and
Yeah.
be a voice for them and give them that space to be recognized. So I
Yeah.
feel like those are a couple of ways that I feel that this event platform is unique.
Is there anything that you want to share about the city of Hutto, about building belonging, or about yourself?
I feel like when you go on there, you're able to see just how it is. Like, you know, you have things from all family events, all things that are open to the public, and you know, it fits whatever needs you might have, and fits literally any demographic. And I think that it's cool that the city is able to leverage this platform for its community members.
I heard your city manager, James Earp, say before that in order to really build belonging and keep that small town feel, you have to know your neighbor. And in order to do that, you have to spend time in community. So I think you've just echoed that perfectly. Once you feel that sense of belonging, it's addicting. You want to keep it, you want to keep your community thriving and together and use the tools that you have at your disposal in order to make that happen.
Absolutely, that was perfectly said, Shay.